Feeling stuck in your career can be one of the most frustrating feelings you will ever have to deal with in your life because you're reminded of it every single day when you wake up and it hits. Oh, yeah, I got to go into work today for a job I'm no longer passionate about. But there's real risk in making changes because you have to leave behind the safe, the comfortable, the things you know how to do and throw yourself into the darkness, hoping that it pays off. And if it does, it can be magic. It can get you closer to that dream job and accelerate your career for years to come. But if it goes wrong, it can have just as big an impact in the wrong direction. So there's real risk there. How do you make sure you're setting yourself up for success? Well, I first faced this dilemma about 10 years ago when I transitioned from working in finance to getting into technology. And I was a few years into my career, but I just knew in my heart that I didn't want to be in professional services my entire life. I wanted to go build something from the ground up and start my own company. But the problem was I didn't know anything about starting companies because I was working in a 15,000 person organization and my day was filled with spreadsheets and PowerPoint and strategy meetings and those sorts of things. So when I spoke to a mentor, I said, look, I want to build my own company eventually. How do I actually get involved in that? He said, look, you need to get as close as you can to it and really understand it before you throw yourself into that darkness. I said, okay, how do I do that? And he advised me, look, if you want to go get into company building, go figure out how companies are built. Because right now, all you know is finance. And I said, okay, I built this giant spreadsheet of opportunities at smaller growing companies where I could have an impact because I was too senior to want to go and start as a junior in these companies. But I was also too junior to go and have real leadership and management responsibilities at these companies either. So I found the sweet spot in a small growing company, about 20 to 30 people that was growing quickly. And it was a chief of staff role. And this worked out so well for me because it gave me those two things. It gave me visibility across the entire company. I saw how all the pieces come together. Our product and sales and operations and finance all need to work together to create happy customers and make sure the machine works to keep delivering that on repeat. But I also got a leadership position without actually being responsible for managing or leading or inspiring people because that was the job of the CEO. And why that's important is I truly believe you can't delegate what you don't understand. And I believe that because if you're trying to get someone else to do something which you have no idea how it works, it's really hard to check, audit, and help and train them. So that worked for me, and I did that for a couple of years, and it gave me that experience I needed. And looking back on that conversation I had, I realized what he was talking about was finding a wedge into my next career. And over the last 10 years, I've seen this play out in so many other people's careers as well. Whereas that person that's working in finance but wants to get involved into sales trading, but they can't get there in one step. They got to take a few steps. So they get closer to capital markets and they get closer to risk management and they finally end up in trading. Or it's that person that wants to get into customer success. So they will go work in sales for a bit, they get closer to the customer, and eventually they understand it enough to go work deeper into the customer success organization. And what it's taught me, what I've realized is so often we think being stuck in our career, we just need to make that big move, that one big change, the leap to get into where we want to go. But often that's not the case. Normally it's just a series of small steps and getting closer and closer and getting that foot in the room. Because once we're in that room, then we can get the skills, the expertise, the relationships to take those next few steps and get to where we want to end up going. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one.